Good morning. How you doing? How you doing? Good morning. Um, this is going to be a very interesting week for me. I can only speak for me. I can't speak for anybody else, but I can speak for me. So, being that I know, man, what is up with this microphone? Being that I know that it's going to be an interesting week, we got to make it an interesting morning, right? Sometimes you got to craft your morning to prepare yourself for the day. I'm going to say that again. That made a lot of sense. Sometimes you have to craft your morning to prepare yourself for your day. And a lot of times when you craft your morning, you kind of design how your day can be. Really depends on, what you do in the morning. Like some people work out in the morning, some people read in the morning, some people pray in the morning, some people meditate in the morning. There are different things that people do in the morning that crafts or designs how their day is either going to be or how their day can, based on how they start their day. All right, so I'm gonna leave that alone. I think that is very well explained all the way through. I think that's very well explained. The explanation of it is thoroughly understood. Um, Let me go ahead and put the caption up before we start. So as you can see, the caption that is a question up there today is: Are you evolving? Are you evolving? That is today's question. That's the question of the day. What's that? QOTD. The QOTD question of the day: Are you evolving? And that is only going to be answered by people who understands that life is life moves in evolution. Peace. Good morning, Miss Weston. So life moves in evolution. So the question that is proposed right here is: Are you evolving? I pray that you're not stagnant. If you are, it is okay. But that's where you have to see where you are, but also look where you're going and developing or designing how you're actually going to get there. So again, the question that is proposed for the question of the day is: Are you evolving? And of course, today's conversation, as you have seen or may not have seen, we are talking about the becoming. We are talking about the becoming. And today's conversation is going to be so deep and so thorough. And I think that you will, I ain't gonna say I think, I know that you will see something within it that you can utilize, not just for the moment, but something that you can use to pour back into yourself. If you're that type of person that pour out in so much and pour out into so many people. So go ahead and you can answer that question right now. It's: Are you evolving? Where's my finger right there? Are you evolving? So let's go ahead and jump into it. Let me go ahead and switch this screen. But for those that know the platform, you're going to get definitions of words, and you're going to get the inversion of the definition that will put it into a much more relevant context. Because sometimes, well, a lot of times, when we read definitions, we look at it for what it is, but don't really view it for how it is that we use it in our day to day. Because a lot of times definitions were written so long ago that we have to look at how relevant is it to us, like right now. That's why I do a lot of the definitions and give it a relevant twist to it. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So after we go through these definitions, then we're going to head into the deep dive. Then we're going to go ahead and sign off. And I want you to have a very productive day. So real quick, like, how was your weekend? How was your weekend? Like, was it productive? Did you spend it relaxing, or did you spend it with family, or did you um, was it a rough weekend for you? Like, how was your weekend this weekend? If it wasn't as pleasant as you may have wanted it to be, or it wasn't pleasant, like for whatever type of way and situation that went on, that went down, I pray that your week changes, not just for you, but the week changes around you. So let's go ahead and go. So, the very first definition of becoming, and before we really get into it, go ahead and take this live and share it on your timeline or share it inside a group. And once you get finished sharing it on the timeline or inside a group, go ahead and put the word done inside the chat. What they say, obedience is better than sacrifice. I'm just saying because somebody's going to be blessed today by just listening and being a part of our conversation this morning. All right, so the very first definition of becoming, it says the process of coming to be something or of passing into a state. I'm going to read that again. It says the process of coming to be something or of passing into a state. And the inversion that I want you to pay attention to with this one is white over red. And white over red says the process of coming to be or passing into a state. So now when you're talking about becoming, it is a process. It is a full-blown exposure, like where you are and where you're going, and that's you taking a look at it. So it is a process of coming to be or passing into a state. And passing into a state is really passing into a state of mind, or acknowledging the state of mind that you're presently in right now in that moment, but then carrying yourself into a new place that you know that you were either wanted to go to or that you know that you're going to. So again, it says the process of coming to be or passing into a state. And the next definition that I want you to pay attention to is grow to be. Oh Lord, I'm about to have a Teddy Riley moment. I need to plug my laptop in. It's okay. Why? Because I'm always readily available and have stuff like that in preparation for it. All right. So the second definition, it says growing to be and turning into. Growing to be and turning into. And the inversion on this one is red over white. The inversion is red over white, in which is growing to be. And the reason why I had that inversion of red over white of growing to be is because we have to look at our growth, right? Grow to be, which our growth is really our evolution, like how we are changing, like maybe the places that we go, or changing how we communicate, or even changing who we communicate with, or changing the places that we no longer go to, because that is a part of your becoming, because change is the inevitable. And because of our growth and our evolution is how we arrive. We really come from a place of self-reflection, because in order for you to become, you have to look at it like, where am I right now? Like, how do I see myself? So from that self-reflection, it goes into the place of self-actualization. Like, okay, this is where I came from. Like, this is where the thoughts have derived from. But now where am I right now? Because if I still keep that same energy or that same train of thought, it is not going to be healthy for me, because it's going to take me in a place that may tear down everything that I've built, everything and every place that I want it to go. I am going to be detrimental to the future me if I do not change my ways, or change how I say things to some people, or change how where I go. And you're going to have to be okay with that. because that's where that self-reflection comes from. That's you sitting down with you communicating to you being real to you having those inner conversations with you. And that self-actualization is really like that aha moment for you to be like, you know what, I probably could have done something different. And because I know that I can do something different, now it's time for me to do different, whether it is eating different, whether it is um, increasing your water intake, or lowering or completely stopping your alcoholic intake, whatever it is. That's where that self reflection and self actualization come from, because you're looking at yourself. And whatever it is that you want to become, it only comes after the self reflection have taken place. It's not you pointing the finger at anybody else. That's you actually looking at you and communicating to you about you before you're able to take the first step into the direction that you know that you can go, or you know that you want to go. That's no one else's responsibility. That is a sole responsibility of how you carry yourself and where you're carrying yourself to. So let's get ready to go into this deep dive, and then we're going to go ahead and close it out. So there's two factors of becoming, and I want you to pay attention to these two factors. So the two factors of becoming are in your discovery and your development. I'm going to say that again. The two factors of your becoming are in your discovery and in your development. And within your development is also housed inside of your discovery. Because remember, we're talking about the self actualization, which is a form of discovery. And after you have discovered that thing or that process that you were in, then that's where the development takes place. Like, okay, I see it, but now you're saying, what am I going to do about it? I have discovered it, but now what am I going to change? What am I going to no longer do? Where am I going to no longer go? And within that discovery, there is a holistic process that need to take place, because now that process is internal and external development that will truly expose the areas of vulnerability through principles. Because we have to understand, a lot of times there are things that happen because we're not standing firm on the foundation of our principles. And I want you to see something when we're talking about principles of becoming. So as I began to formulate like what we're going to talk about today, and I was looking at the word becoming, and I was like, man, there's like three principles to becoming. And I want you to understand that like these are true principles. And the three principles of becoming is number one, truth, number two, trust, and number three, transparency. I'm gonna say that again. The three principles of becoming is truth, trust, and transparency. If these three principles of becoming will become foundational for your personal growth and your transformation. As truth, trust, and transparency will become very essential elements that will enable you to connect your authentic self and build meaningful relationships, not just with other people around you, but actually build true meaningful relationship with yourself, to where you're loving you and okay with loving you even when you're in the absence of other people, because loving you is the authentic love that you give yourself. and you build those meaningful conversations with yourself and being okay with talking to yourself, because now you're able to communicate and commit yourself to achieving your goals because you are embracing the principles that really require courage as well as vulnerability, and you have to be willing to challenge your very own beliefs and values, because we're going to have to embrace our today. That's something that you're going to have to be committed to and be willing to understand. Like, are you prepared to embrace your today? That's that self realization. Like, am I prepared to embrace my today? Am I prepared to be vulnerable to where I am, just so I can know more about where it is that I'm about to go? That's when you embrace your today. Think about it. To be what we are and to become what we are about to become, it really begins to show us that we're capable of becoming. Because if I can see this thing that I know I need to change about me, and I understand how I can develop that, that means I'm capable of becoming, because I have shown myself what it is, or it has been exposed. Like, okay, I have discovered like this is an issue. Now that I know that this is an issue, now what I'm going to do about it is begin to transform it and begin to develop new ways of doing things, which will allow me to become capable of doing it again when I understand or see what it is that need to change. I want you also to understand that your becoming is in your promise. Your becoming is in your potential. Your becoming is within the fabrics of your purpose and your passion. If you don't remember anything else I say today, I want you to thoroughly understand that your becoming will never be in anyone's perception. Never be in anyone's perception. Because your becoming is your becoming. Develop into the version that you can be. You know that you can go. You know that you're capable of, and keep discovering you and keep developing you. And as you discover more about you, you're going to be able to multiply the amount of things that you can develop about you and with you and around you. And you be able to be an influence and touch more things and touch more people after you have become into that state, in that state of mind. All right, it's Mr. R2 here at Consistency is Currency, your morning podcast of choice. I appreciate you 1000%. Like always, here at your morning podcast of choice. Y'all be blessed. Peace.